On the island of Newfoundland, upon the southwest coast, lies the little town of Virgil, to whom I'll sing this toast. There are so many islands that lie just off her shore, and when the cold north wind blows, you can hear the billows roar. The people from the village make their living from the sea. They like their independence. It shows that they are free. Some fish in their small boats in the wind, the rain and sleet, while others make their living on the offshore trawler fleet. They've known their share of tragedies down through the years, and when the memories overcome, they show their grief with tears. For they have lost some loved ones to the furies of the seas, for heartaches and heartbreaks are locked in memories. This village, it's got beauty carved on its rugged shore. 7 miles of pure white sand, who could ask for more? The mountains and the valleys where the rivers run so fast, and the salmon rise to the sportsman's fly as he makes another cast. Now the people of this village love their native home, for anyone who goes away oh surely will return. Just like that lifelong mystery, the answer you won't know. What makes this rugged village burn so deeply in your soul? What makes this rugged village burn so deeply in your soul?
Good evening and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight in our stories we have our MHA, the school's Terry Fox Walk, Portraits of Honor, new Liberal candidate. Please stay tuned for these stories after this. Try your luck on Wednesday and play TV Bingo, sponsored by the Snack Program. Cards are 6 for $5 and can be bought from any volunteer of the Snack Program, students, or in most stores around town. Our MHA Calvin Parsons came by the studio to have a few words with us.
Hi, this is Calvin Parsons, MHA for Burgeo-Lapoille. I'm nearing the end of my career in politics. As most of you probably know, I've decided I will not be running in this coming election, and I'll be retiring effectively, I guess, on October the 11th. But I thought it would be appropriate on one of my last visits as MHA to take the opportunity to thank the people of Burgeo for your kindness and your support over the years. I've been coming to Burgeo, of course, since 1980, first as a lawyer, and then since 1999, in February of 99 actually, I've been representing this area as your MHA. And over that period of time, I have made literally hundreds and hundreds of new friends. And since 2007, I've also represented Ramia and Grey River as well. I wanted to take the opportunity to expressly and sincerely thank you for the kindness and the support that you've shown me over the years. I have attended your anniversaries, your come home year celebrations, your church celebrations, your church meetings, and your church graduations for students in the area, council meetings, and your firemen's balls. I've met, of course, with all of your councils over those years and your various mayors, Alistair Hand initially, and then Mayor George Reed, and then recently, of course, Mayor McDonald. And I've had a good working relationship with council and the councilors and the staff members there. Blaine Marks, your current town manager in particular, a very good working relationship. I've had the good fortune to meet, work with, and socialize with your firemen, your recreation committee members, your development associations, your firemen's committees, your fishermen's committees, your sand and sea festival committees, church groups, cadets, and your teachers and your students. And indeed, it has been a pleasure. Some people who are MHAs probably feel that it's a job and it's work, but actually it's been very enjoyable, and the nicest part of it is, of course, being able to meet people, and particularly satisfying if you can actually help people. And people might not see the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on. Of course, you meet with the groups and the associations and the councils in your district, but the most rewarding for me as an MHA was the one-on-one dealings that we had with people who had problems with the healthcare system, people who needed help in filling out applications, people who needed medical assistance, transfers and so on, students who needed help, job and creation projects and so on. And I've been very blessed to have a lot of satisfying memories because we've been able to help so many people. I've been invited into your homes, and I've been, as they say, made friends for life here. Burgeo, in fact, is like a second home for me. I was born and raised in Port aux Basques, and I will be living on the East Coast after I retire. But of course, Port aux Basques will always be home, and Burgeo will always be my second home. You're, as they say, good people here. You're very kind, you're very considerate, you're very hard-working and conscientious people. And I think it only appropriate that I come and give you my thanks for what you've done for me over the years. Politicians quite often, of course, just come looking when it's vote time and want your vote. Well, I'm pleased to say that I thank you for the votes that you gave me in the past and for your vote of support. I won't be running again, but most importantly, besides votes, is the friendship and the alliances and the support that I've recognized and experienced and felt from you people over the years. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you've done for me. It was truly an enjoyable experience, and I wish you and your families all the best in the future. Even though I'm leaving politics, I made a commitment when I got elected that I'd be here to help for as long as it took. I'm not officially going to be running, and I won't be the MHA. But for all of those people who I know and feel so closely to, by all means, if there's ever anything in future that I may help you with, I'm not leaving Newfoundland and Labrador. I'm still going to be here. And albeit I might not be your MHA, if there's any problem that you have that I can help with, I say sincerely, please don't hesitate to call me when and if I can ever help you. Thank you, and all the best.
Burgeo Academy held its annual Terry Fox Walk on Thursday. The primary and elementary school walked around town, and the high school walked up to the ball field and played sports. The Portraits of Honor will be arriving in Burgeo on October the 18th or 19th. Dave Sofa, the artist, along with other guests, will be traveling with this trailer display. These portraits are of Canadians killed in Afghanistan. If anyone would like to get involved with this, please call Gord at 886-2259. Here is a video of what it is about.
Since 2002, over 5,000 Canadian Forces soldiers, sailors, and aircrew have deployed on missions to Afghanistan. Every single one of these dedicated men and women chose their career knowing full well the dangers that awaited them. Each day, they awake and willingly face the stark reality that unknown enemy threats exist. Enemies devoted to harming them. If you ask why they freely and knowingly put themselves in harm's way, they'll tell you that they believe there's something more important at stake. There are innocent people in our world who have no one to help them, no one to turn to. Our Canadian troops choose to protect them.
On December 6, 2008, I seen the article in the front of the paper with 100 Canadian soldiers now died in Afghanistan. And it kind of hit home. When I first started, it was a painting. But it didn't take long. It came, before it came, like I've heard many times, a work of love. When you look into someone's eyes, you started feeling a little bit how they were. You could see if there's a glimmer of a smile, sadness. But that's how I usually start my pictures. Has it become an obsession? Yes, definitely.
We were planting peas making a garden in our front yard, and I saw a vehicle go past, turn around, and went past again and parked. And I saw a Navy uniform get out of a car, and then another one, and then the third one, and then the fourth one. I knew it was bad. So this is hopefully going to be a tribute, a memorial, a place for people to connect to communities and to help families, for not just the fallen soldiers, but for the wounded soldiers. Where do they have it? Where's the place for them? They seem to be lost.
Thousands of wives, husbands, partners, parents, and children have remained at home, worried, hopeful, resilient. Many of our brave troops have returned physically injured. Thousands more will return to suffer the emotional stress of combat for years to come. Many will not come home alive. Our Canadian troops have made the choice to protect and care for those who needed their help. Now it's time for Canadians to make a choice, to protect and care for our military members and their families who now need our help.
Nothing that you can do to bring them back, so the only thing you can do is just that I hope by the kinsmen would come up with a great idea that we could raise money to not only honor them, but help keep the other ones safe and keep their families taken care of.
Starting on June 1st, 2011, the Portraits of Honor National Tour will bring Canadians together to pay tribute, to remember, to heal, and to raise necessary funding for our military families and our injured troops. We will never forget. All gave some. Some gave all. What will you give?
The new Liberal candidate, Andrew Parsons, came by the studio to have a chat. In our studios tonight, I have with me Mr. Andrew Parsons, who is the Liberal candidate for the upcoming election. Good evening, Andrew.
Good evening, Maxine.
And welcome back to our studio.
Thank you for having me again.
So you want to tell me some of the things that about yourself and why you decided to enter the political ring?
Well, sure. Well, my background is that I grew up in Port aux Basques, moved away for school, and then I've been back in Port aux Basques since 2005. Since that time, I've been practicing law at Andrew Parsons, and I've maintained a general law practice. I live in Port aux Basques with my wife Erin and my son Michael. And but the other big thing that I've been involved in since I've been home is volunteerism. I've been involved in minor hockey, junior hockey, the Chamber of Commerce, zone boards, and Hockeyville back in 2008. So I've had a lot of opportunity to get out and be involved with people.
Okay, perfect. You have mentioned your volunteer work in the area. How do you compare that to the politics and being the MHA for the district? Like, what do you bring from those experiences to the office?
Well, I guess the first thing is that being involved in a lot of volunteer activities, I've had an opportunity to work with people.
Okay.
And I think that's very important, no matter what you're doing, is that you have to be a part of a team, you have to work well with others, and try your best, at the end of the day, to accomplish goals as a team. But through my volunteer involvement, I've also been given an opportunity to be a leader and to provide leadership and given leadership roles. So that's obviously can translate easily into the role of MHA, because it's the same sort of thing, where at the end of the day, I'm working with a team, but I'm going to hopefully be the leader and take guidance from the people that help put me in that position.
Okay, very good. Over the past couple of years, federal programs such as JPCs and others have been taken over by the province. In this area, provincial programs are important not only to get valuable work done, but to provide much needed employment. Since the province took over these programs, it has become more difficult to get this important funding. There is a fear that we may lose these programs. What do you plan to do to ensure these programs remain?
Well, it's obvious that these programs are very important to this area, whether that be Burgeo, whether that be Ramia, Portabass, Kate Ray, or Isle Mort. These programs provide value. They're much needed. So I think the first thing is that we have to work through this transition where the provincial government's taken it over from the federal government. I also think that we need to maybe have a reassessment of how these programs are being utilized, because sometimes things aren't working, and if they're not working, we have to make them right. So I certainly know that this is an important area, and it's one that I'm willing to provide some leadership on, and hopefully provide some guidance in helping us move forward in this process.
Okay, very good. There has been many issues in Burgeo and area. Can you give us your take on them? And if elected, how do you plan to address these issues?
Well, I've had the opportunity in the last number of months. I've been down in the area numerous times. I've met with the council and met with lots of different citizens. So I've been given an opportunity to be, I guess, informed on what's going on. One of the big ones, obviously, is the Burgeo Highway. And I don't think that a patchwork effort is going to work here. I think that we have to take a look at the highway, and there's definitely some areas that need to be repaired. Hand in hand with that is the cell phone service on the highway. Now, maybe that's not a government issue, but I tell you what, that's something that in 2011 I just don't think is good enough.
No.
And I think that's something that has to be worked on, and maybe we have to go to the service provider. But again, that comes down to a safety issue.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously important. I've talked to the town, municipal infrastructure is at a point where, again, that you need to constantly maintain and upgrade it. So we have to work together with the town on that. The water treatment plant here, we were lucky enough to have it obtained here, but it hasn't been much luck in utilizing it since. So we have to continue on with that and make sure that the wheels are turning. Again, a lot of this stuff is a matter of making sure that we keep things rolling here. Another issue here that I've been made aware of is seniors housing. I mean, housing is an all-time crunch everywhere, and especially when it comes to our most vulnerable sector, which is seniors. The fact is that in 15 years, 1 in 4 of us will be a senior. And in 1990, not that long ago, it was only 1 in 10. So we had to face that reality. We have an aging population, and we have to take care of these people. These are people that have provided, they've been in the taxpayer system for years, so we have to make sure that they're taken care of. I've talked to other people. There's obviously employment and jobs is another big issue. And the tourism industry in this area is also something that there needs to be more put in. I think the provincial government needs to realize that there's more to this province than Grossmoor and the East Coast.
Yes, yes, exactly. What are some issues that are of a province-wide concern?
Well, there are a few, and some of them hit close to home here. One of them is the fishery, which is an area that's been sort of swept under the rug now. Under the current Dunderdale administration. They haven't made much mention of it. A Liberal government will make sure that there's significant investment made into this industry. And, this was the backbone of our province for years. Yes. And there's still value that we can take care of this industry. It was worth just under $1 billion last year. So we can't just turn our back to it. So, and we're at a stage now with the revenues that are coming in from other industries to invest back in these industries, and these are the industries that benefit rural Newfoundland and benefit Burgeo. Another issue that has popped its head up is the independent pharmacy issue, which I know had some effect down here. If this current government keeps going like it is, and if they're not willing to talk or even communicate with the independent pharmacists, then what's going to happen, and this is not just in Burgeo and in Ramia and in the Cadroy Valley and all over this province, what's going to happen is they're either going to increase the prices or they're going to close these pharmacies up. And that's just not good enough. We rely on services like that. So it's just so important for the government to stop sitting there and doing nothing on this. Communicate. We have to talk to, we have to work together to see if we can right the ship and right these issues. So that's just two issues there that are going across, going around the entire province, but they have an effect here.
Yes. Okay. With the oil royalties coming to this province, we are now classified as a AV province and are experiencing employment growth, especially on the east coast of the province. Now with Ebron coming on the scene, how do we spread this wealth from area on the east coast throughout the province so that rural communities can begin to see the benefits?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that the current administration sometimes seems to forget about the rural economy. Sometimes they seem to forget that there is a rural economy. We're at a point in our history where we have a surplus coming in from these non-renewable resources such as oil. We're at a point where we're bringing in large amounts of money, but that's not going to last forever. So we have to take that money and we have to invest it into other industries, not just to prop them up. There's other industries that can succeed, but we need to we need to put money into, we need to grow them and nurture them and develop them so that they become sustainable and valuable. The fishery is one. Tourism is another. So, I mean, and the other thing we need to realize here is that, there's more to this province than just the East Coast. Okay? There's the South Coast, Southwest Coast, Central, and we have to realize that we're not going to succeed if we just have everything heavily invested on one side of this island. And these other industries that I've referenced here, these are ones that affect us here. So let's put these revenues into other industries and we're going to be fine. These are industries that are, renewable, and they can sustain themselves, but we have to sit there and start somewhere.
Yes. Okay. Muskrat Falls plans to be another mega project in the province, and there are many views about it. How do you feel about this project, and do you feel it will be good for Newfoundland and Labrador?
No, I certainly don't think Muskrat Falls, the deal that's currently in place is not good for this province. I mean, first thing I will say is I'm all for development, okay? But I'm not for development when I don't see how we are benefiting from it and it's being done on the backs of our people here. Right now, we're going to go and sink about $6 billion into a project, into our debt. And I don't know how we're going to benefit. All I do know is that we're going to see a big increase in those power bills that come in our mail every month. So how is that? How are we benefiting from our own resources that way? I think that this deal, if they continue on, has the potential to make the Upper Churchill mess look mild.
Wow.
And we all know how bad that deal panned out. We don't have enough information. They're trying to pound this deal through and push it through. So I think that, we have to ask the current government, and we have to ask the Progressive Conservative Party, is this what you want? Where's the benefit? What are we getting from this? I just don't see the need right now. And if we can get a deal that benefits this province, by all means, but not a deal that's going to benefit Nova Scotia. I mean, sometimes it sounds like they're trying to play this off as this is a green project, and it's good for renewable energy, but we're already a 91% green province. Are we going to spend $6 billion to be 97% green? Again, where is the need? I don't see any reason why we should sit here and incur the bills, and our kids incur the bills, and our grandkids incur the bills for something that it hasn't been explained to me yet why this is going to work. So again, I'm looking forward to the Dunderdale administration and perhaps even the other candidate to explain to me why we should continue on with this.
Okay. You have chosen to run for the provincial Liberals. Polls show that the provincial Conservatives have a commanding lead. There are people that would say it's better to serve on the governing side. what would you tell people of the area about the possibility of serving in opposition as opposed to serving on the government side?
Well, that seems to be the argument that's being made by my friend, my opposing candidate, that we need to have someone in on the government side, and I certainly think that's false. I would think that if we look back at the Tom Rideout situation a couple of years ago, and that's a prime example of why that doesn't matter. This was a man that was the deputy premier. He spoke out against the government on, the condition of roads in his district. Again, the deputy premier, and he was turfed. He was tossed out. And this is being on the government side. So we all know how much clout a government backbencher is going to have in this administration. If you speak out, you're put out. Now, this district in the last 4 years has had the most community enhancement money of any district in the entire province, and that was all done in opposition. So I guess what I'm saying is what it comes down to is putting a person in place that's going to be the best person for the position, a person that's going to represent this district and is going to be able to work with the government, be able to work with the bureaucracy, but at the same time not afraid to speak out. And we all know that there's been plenty of people that have been in government that have spoken out over the last number of years, and they've all found themselves out.
Yes.
So that's why I think getting in with the government is not all that it's cracked up to be. Certainly I think that we need someone in that's able to speak out and speak up for the people. Doesn't necessarily matter where you sit, it matters where you stand.
Yes. Why do you think you are the best candidate to represent this district, and why should voters vote for Andrew Parsons?
I think that the current PC administration, the Dunderdale government, has had 8 years in government, and they've forgotten that rural Newfoundland exists. I think that if elected, I can be a voice for the people. I think that I can be someone that stands up and speaks out for the people. I think that my background, my energy, my commitment and dedication, and my accessibility will make me a good person to represent this district in the House of Assembly. I only make 2 promises, and that being that I work hard and that I'll always be there and always be accessible to the people. And if elected, I promise to keep those promises to the people. And I also think that at the end of the day, I'm a person that can stand up, can speak out, and I will be a voice that will be heard.
Okay, very good. Do you have anything else you'd like to say in closing?
Well, I do have some notes here. I just would like to say that a little reminder that I will be going door to door in the community over the coming days and weeks. I'm going to be back again. I was here a few times this summer, and I'm looking forward to keeping coming back. If anybody wants to contact me, they can contact me at any time by telephone or email. Our headquarters number is 695-5654. You can reach me on Facebook. You can reach me on Twitter. We've got a website set up, www.andrewparsonsliberal.com. So please, you can check it out and get in touch with us anytime, and I'd love to hear from people. I really think it's important to get out and meet the people, because you're not going to be able to represent anyone if you don't take the time to talk to them and see what their issues are and how you can help them. So that's what I plan on doing. I want to be there. I want to be in touch with people. I'm looking forward to that part. That's probably the best part of this of a campaign, is getting out and talking to the people. And I guess that's about it. Just thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Oh, you're kindly welcome, and we wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
This concludes our program for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.